Rattlesnake it's a decision support system that is using verifiable AI to make its calculations. What it does is it calculates every possible missile that or weapon that the enemy can fire at you, and keeps track of all of those. And it calculates a boundary that the pilot knows how far in each direction can the pilot fly without being defeated by any of the possible missiles that the enemy have. I started out as a fighter pilot and flew the Gripen and the Viggen in the Swedish Air Force, and I saw the graphics they had on the head down displays, and it was all about looking at the enemies and where are they and how far can they fire. But I realized, since I'm also a programmer since I was a kid, that a computer can keep track of this much better than what I actually am trying to do as a pilot. So we just are letting the computer keep tracks of everything. And that's, of course, is a lot of computational power needed on the edge in the aircraft. That's why we have created a very advanced modeling solution, and we are using verifiable AI to compress or simplify the calculations so they can be calculated in, for instance, the Typhoon. The problem with AI in general is that you put it in information and you get some kind of answer out, and you need an expert to say, is this a good answer, or is it kind of the solution that you were looking for? And it's hard to verify that. It's just you have to use qualitative approach to it. With verifiable AI that we use instead, we can always back the response from the AI with a simulation. So for instance, if we ask the type of AI, how far in that direction can we fly in order before we get defeated by the missile? And the answer the AI gives us is 2 kilometers. We can always use just a normal simulation and verify that answer to a very high degree. So we don't have to have any guesswork. Does the AI work or not? We can just, simulate the answer.
Whilst flying Typhoon in operational real-world scenarios, one of the things that it takes years of experience to build up in general is an awareness of missile combat. And how will I defeat air-to-air missiles or surface-to-air missile systems that are aimed at me? Usually that's involving how do I defeat their guidance through the use of onboard or offboard electronic warfare systems. But the other factor that's kind of key and takes a lot of experience is how do I defeat them kinematically through my own maneuvers or how I position myself in space. And that's where, as a decision aid, avionics Rattlesnake really comes into its own. And you can immediately see that the first time you see that on the Typhoon simulator. Another factor that's key about Rattlesnake is not only do we get a much more accurate dynamic calculation, but I get a cumulative threat indication of all of the surface-to-air missiles and air-to-air missile systems that are out there. That can be intelligently fused with guidance information so that I can make far more accurate and useful decisions. What that means in the real world, if our pilots are flying over a hostile, complex, congested environment, is that they can be far safer, be far more survivable, but also be more lethal.
That in the military, it's called the TRL, the technical readiness level, and we are at level 9, meaning that it flies actually in an aircraft. So we have that, but also, as it's quite common in the defense industry, we cannot say always who our customers are, but we can guarantee you and all our other customers know that we have it flying in the aircraft, not in a fighter currently, but that is why we're putting it in the Typhoon.